Stampers, it's Kim Vogel with the Basement Bunch Stampers, and I'm back for another terrific Tuesday video. Today I'm going to share with you a technique that is called the polished stone technique. It's a technique that's been around for a while, but we have not been able to do it because Stampin' Up! Did not carry the glossy white cardstock for a while. It's now back, so I decided to give it a try. And I absolutely love this technique, and it's a really good wow card. So what I'm going to show you is how I did this green background on this card. Notice that they are both a little different here. One's a little bit darker, one's a little bit lighter. So each card's going to be different. It all depends on how you sponge your glossy white piece. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. You're going to notice that I used an oldie but a goodie stamp set on this card. I used the Lovely as a Tree. And yes, I have my stamp set from a number of years ago still in the old packaging that Stampin' Up! Used to do. Tells you how long the stamp set's been around, but it's amazing. And so that is the stamp set that I used. And then I also used the Merry Wishes from the Oh What Fun stamp set. And I also want to encourage you to check out my website at kimsbasementbunch.com for all of my online classes that I'm offering, and make sure you join my mailing list, and then you'll get updates on any of my classes as well as any of my videos that I post. So let's go ahead and get started. The card base today is done with Garden Green, and that is cut 5.5 by 8.5, and it is scored at 4 1/4. So that is the base of the card that I used today. And then I have a basic black piece that is cut 4 3/4 by 3.5, and that is just going to lay here on this card like that. But what I want to get into is showing you how I did the polished stone technique itself. And so for that, I'm going to bring in a piece of grid paper so that I don't make a complete mess here. My glossy white cardstock is 4.5 by 3 1/4, and this glossy white comes in an 8.5 by 11 pack, and it is in with all of our specialty papers, so you can see that it's kind of glossy. It also almost reminds me of photo paper, but it's glossy cardstock that Stampin' Up! Sells. And then what you're going to do is, this is where you're going to get creative. I chose to use 3 different colors of ink refill. I chose to use Garden Green, Old Olive, and the new Lemon Lime Twist, the new in color. So again, you could get creative and pick any colors that you wanted to. What you're going to also need is just regular alcohol from your department store and a cotton ball. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to saturate a cotton ball with some of this alcohol. And I just got some on there, like, you know, it's not a whole lot, just kind of like if you were going to rub it on yourself. And then you're going to drop, I should have had these inks open, so let me get them all opened here real quick. And then I'll show you. And then what you're going to do is you are just going to drop onto your cotton ball 2 or 3 drops of each one of these re-inkers. So I'm going to go with 3. So I got 1, 2, 3. That was the Old Olive. This is the Garden Green. Maybe I'll just do 2 of the Garden Greens. I want this one to be a little bit lighter. And then I have the, oh sorry, that was the actual Lemon Lime Twist. Now I'm first doing the Old Olive. I did 3 of that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to just bring in your glossy white cardstock, and you're going to start tapping onto that with your sponge. And you can see how it kind of pulls up that ink, but look how pretty that is. And you're just going to keep on going and keep on going until you have it all covered. All of it is covered. And the more I go on top of it, the more I'm going to mesh those colors together. So I'm trying really hard not to do that too much, because I don't want it, I want the variated look. That's why it's called the polished stone technique. But look how awesome that is. I'm going to set that one off to the side to dry. And I have found that I can usually get 2 of them out of one, 2 pieces of the cardstock out of one of the cotton balls. And the second one is going to be where it actually got a little bit darker for me. Maybe it was, no, it got lighter for me because I didn't have as much ink on there. But again, it still gives you a really pretty look. And you could do this technique and experiment with purples and different shades of blue and all kinds of different things. This, I think, would be a really nice card technique using the Night in Bethlehem with some blues in the background for the sky. I may have to try that. So if I do, I'll make sure I post it onto my site so you guys can all see that. So there it is. Now that's going to take a little bit to dry, but you can see the difference here in the two. Let me bring them both back together in here. You can tell that this one is a little bit lighter than this original one that I did, but look how pretty that is. Still very, very pretty. So that is going to just take a second to dry. But it does dry fairly fast because of the fact that you did use the glossy white. And you can always hit the heat tool on it a little bit and get some heat set on that. And that's actually what I'm going to do. So let me bring in my heat tool. Okay, I got my heat tool, and I'm just going to set this a little bit so that this will dry so I can finish the project for you and show you how it looks. So if you were doing this in a large quantity, they would obviously dry on their own, but for purposes of getting this done to show you, I'm going to heat set it just a little. And you can see that it also turns darker, lighter, depending on the amount of ink on there as it dries. But look how pretty that is. When I'm done here, I'm going to bring it in closer to the camera so you can see it, because it truly is gorgeous. And you can see that that looks even different than my sample. I mean, each one looks so unique and so different. But how pretty. So we're going to use this one, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stamp my trees using the trees from the Lovely as a Tree stamp set. And I simply used basic black to stamp on those. You're going to want to make sure you get that inked up really, really good. And sometimes I even stamp on my grid paper to make sure that I have it inked up good. So I'm hoping that I have a good inked up pad. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp this on there. And I'm pushing this down really good because I definitely want to have a good stamped image. And I do. Look how awesome that is. And then what I did is I topped that off with some of our dazzling diamond glitter. And using our Tombow glue is what, and I don't have it here at the moment to show you, but what I did is I added a little bit of the glue to the bases of the trees, and then I added some of our dazzling diamond glitter, just sprinkle some of that on there to add that to it. And then I layered this onto our black piece that I mentioned to you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that. And again, I encourage you to check out my website at kimsbasementbunch.com for all of my online classes and all my videos. I post one every single Tuesday, and I also have a giveaway that I also do every single Tuesday. And all you have to do is comment on my video or my blog post to win my free item. So make sure you check my website every Tuesday for those. We all like to win, right? Pretty fun. So there you have a cute little polished stone card. I then topped it off using the layering ovals, and I added the sentiment Merry Wishes, and then I used the little stamp from the Lovely as a Tree, and I used the stamp right here, and I stamped that on there as well, and I used the 1/2 inch circle punch and the 3/4 inch circle punch to top off my card. But I really wanted to showcase the technique for you and encourage you to give it a try with different colors. So I hope you've enjoyed this technique today, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great day. Bye.